Hi everyone, good morning. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Welcome to a new day. Hope that you're doing great. Hope that you've woken up feeling strong and positive and ready for a new day. Thanks a lot for being here. Thank you so much for your support. I wake up every day just thanking my lucky stars that I've got you in my life. So thanks again. I've got my cup of tea this morning. I decided to go with my puka or paka 3 Tulsi. 3 Tulsi is it's a plant, holy basil, and it's a really nice combination of teas. It's quite dark. For me though, it's kind of between a green tea and a black tea, and so it's a nice morning tea. I've never actually put milk in it, but it probably would be okay. But anyway, I hope you've got a cup of tea or coffee or just something that you love and enjoying this time in your day. Before I start, I wanted to mention something to you that's really important to me, and I've mentioned it before, but this is part of the real world that we live in, and I wanted to mention that 60andMe as a company has never charged a membership fee to our people, and we really want to keep doing that. So we started a new Patreon community, which allows women who are willing and able and can afford to give us a little support, $1, $3 a month, to help us keep going with this business. It's really important that we have some investment to do more videos, be able to spend the time to write content, and just to spend the time with you as you hopefully enjoy and appreciate. So if you would like to help us, it's patreon.com/60andme, and we would be eternally grateful for your help. So that's Patreon. Now, one of the things that I know is on your mind, because you tell us all the time that if you had one thing to talk about or one thing to do in retirement, it would be travel. And so we have a couple of really wonderful bloggers who do write about travel for us, and I get inspired by them every single time that I listen to them because they're amazing. And one of them is Lisa Dunkel. Lisa lives in Yucatan right now, but she's moving, and so there's a new big adventure in her life. But she, over the years, has written for us just wonderful stories about how to travel, how to live as an expat in another country, and also lots of stories about living in retirement like a millionaire, because this is for her the lifestyle she's trying to create. But she has discovered, like a lot of us, that as we get older, we don't want to be rushing about quite so much when we're traveling, and we'd rather do something called slower travel, or maybe slow isn't such a great word because it sounds like lethargic, but it's in a way just traveling less and seeing more. So instead of going to a place and rushing around to see all the monuments and all the historical, buildings, to actually stop for a minute and stay in that place for a few more days and go as a local to the local shops, go and visit places that the locals go to, lookout points that they go to watch the sunset, those little things that you only discover when you start chatting with someone and you say, where are the places that you go here in Porto or in Barcelona? I'm in Spain here, but in Ubud, where do you want to go? And then you can learn and stay longer. Travel slowly. Don't rush around. And that way, instead of going to 15 countries in 2 weeks, you can just do 2 and really stay and enjoy them. So slow travel, according to Lisa, and I agree with her 1,000,000%, starts with slow planning. You can't just at the last minute, expect to try to get into a place and find the perfect little apartment and the perfect, airfare and travel arrangements. You've got to write some emails, make some reservations, look at some reviews, because if you're going to stay in a place for a week, you want to be sure that the little hotel or Airbnb or bed and breakfast that you choose is the right place for you. Now, you may, for example, love to travel on a very cheap budget, and many of us do, and stay in a hostel. But a hostel for a week is a little different than a hostel for a night or two. You may love it, in which case go for it. But if you can take time to read the reviews, look and see what other people have said about a place, and don't rush. Enjoy the planning too. That's part of the slow travel, is just to enjoy the whole process from the beginning moment where you say, I want to go there, to the point where you book the hotel or the Airbnb, and just enjoy arriving and relaxing when you get there. You know, as Lisa says, when you traveled as a younger person, it didn't really matter where you stayed. You were out and about every night, maybe just doing something. But you know, maybe it didn't matter that there was a disco below you or a restaurant, you know, open till 3 o'clock in the morning next to you. But now it does. So I remember, actually, it's a funny story. I should probably tell this. I haven't got Nathan's permission, but my son and his wife went to Brazil, and they had a wonderful time. They were doing slow travel for sure. They were there for 3 months. They learned the language, they got to meet local people. I mean, they truly had a wonderful time. But they got to, I think it was Salvador, during Carnival. And they had this lovely little place that they booked. It was on the 2nd floor, and it had lots of room, and it looked perfect. Except when they got there, they realized that outside the window there was like a patio area, and that patio area became the meeting place for people to party. And how would you know? Who would tell you? But you know, every night people would show up in the hundreds with music and you know, drinking and having fun, celebrating Carnival. And at first, I mean, they didn't actually mind at all, because they just were having fun too. And they, in fact, called me one night and opened the window and put the camera out there, the phone, so that I could see, and it was mad. But you know, that's part of slow travel, is enjoying what the locals enjoy and having fun with them, meeting them, learning about their lives. So another thing, though, practically, is if you go to a place and there's no lift, there's no stair, and only stairs, and you're on the 4th floor, and you're a little bit of a heavy traveler, or if you've got a mobility issue. When I say heavy, I meant luggage-wise. But even said, if you've got physical mobility issues or anything like that, you don't want to be lugging luggage up. Anyway, lots of things that may be very specific to you. Just check out, you know, whether you have a coffee machine or a kettle in your room. This is always my one. Can I make a cup of tea? And if not, I have to maybe go out and buy a little kettle. But anyway, that's important. Another thing that Lisa recommends is you travel the long distance first. So if you're going to the States and then if you're going to Europe from the States and you want to go, like, starting in Eastern Europe and then working to Paris, go the furthest distance first. Make that long trip. Get there and then start your slow journey to wherever you're ending the trip. That's a really good advice. And again, she also reminds us about renting a flat and how, you know, if you, depending on your lifestyle, if you want to go out to eat every night, then you don't need to worry about having a kitchen or renting a place where you can, you know, make your meals. But I guess it's back to the point of just knowing yourself, knowing what you love, and making slow travel fun travel. Now, she says that, you know, it's another thing to decide whether you want to be in the city or whether you want to be outside the city. Whether you want to be in a rural environment or something that's a little bit more urban. So again, nature travel, if you're in the outside of a city, tends to be slower travel. So maybe you want to choose a lake house somewhere or a beach bungalow somewhere. But and again, be prepared for what you're going to get if you choose an urban holiday. It's not going to be so slow. That's one thought. Another thing that she mentions, which I really love, is that cruising is a great form of slow travel, especially river cruising. I went on a cruise with Viking, and oh my goodness, it was the most relaxing time in my life. You just take the suitcase on, unpack once, and then for 6 or 7, or in that case, I think it was 10 days, you just relax. You just slow travel along the Rhine or slow travel along the Danube, and it's really, really fun. So luggage is taken with you from place to place, no problems. If you don't like cruising, of course, that's another thing, but you know, be aware that is a fun way to slow travel. And river cruising is particularly easy if you don't like ocean travel. One other thing that Lisa mentions is staying with friends. And I always have mixed feelings about this, but I think that my friend Leah always says, 3 days is all you want to stay with a friend. That's it, at maximum. And I think she's very wise. But, you know, if you stay with friends for 3 days and then stay in a little bed and breakfast for 3 days, you can make the trip slow. You can tell your friend that. I want this to be a slow trip. Let's just sit in cafes, talk about, you know, what's going on, maybe visit a museum, but not rush. So anyway, that's economical too, and that's something to consider. And you know, if you open your house back up to them, or I mean, I have a very small studio, and my friend Leah was here a few days ago. She shared the floor. We made a mattress for her, but you can do it. You know, you don't need a lot of space. And packing for slow travel doesn't even go without saying. Pack light. Really pack light. I am going to do another video, by the way, on packing for slow travel, because I found with any kind of travel, you don't need nearly as much as you think. And my last trip, I think I cracked the code. I think I got it. I wore everything I took. I didn't miss one thing. I'm going to share that with you because I know you think about it too. So another thing you can do is, I mean, of course, living like a local means you can do the theater, you can go to shows, and again, make that part of your planning because they get sold out, and you want to be sure not to miss it while you're there. Okay, it's a really great article. Go read the article by Lisa. It's called "If Travel in Your 60s Tires You Out, Why Not Try Slow Travel?" That's the article. I'll leave a link to it. But thanks, Lisa, for the wonderful advice. And I hope it's given you some inspiration that you don't have to rush when you travel. Oh, I thought of one more thing, which is really important. If you don't like to fly, trains. Because if you don't mind taking a day on the train and not rushing, that's, for me, part of slow travel. So just to remind you that too. Anyway, lots and lots of advice and information, but I would love to know what you think. So please leave your comments in the section below. Tell us what you think about slow travel versus quick travel, and what you prefer. And give us some tips, if you've got any, of how to make it special. Okay, everybody, well, have a wonderful day. Maybe you're going somewhere. You can share your travel trips and travel journey with us. But whatever you're doing, please have a wonderful day. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you all back here very soon. Bye-bye for now.